just groundbreaking because I immediately thought about reflective, celebratory, and rooted. And immediately I thought of someone who is just kicking butt right now. You are doing some amazing work. And
Oh,
I sat down and saw this destination in one sitting. Everybody put your hands together for Jermaine Harris is in the building.
yay! Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Yeah.
First of all, you're stepping into this major season with Medea's Destination Wedding and Joe College Road Trip. Before we get into the work and before we get into all of the things, I always like to start with this question. How are you and how is your heart?
Mm. Oh man, that's a great question to ask. And I'm glad that you asked that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, right now, I am I'm in a season of gratitude. My heart is definitely full as of right now, and I think it's because of this journey that I'm embarking on that I started the year off before the even year started. As the year was ending last year, I started it knowing that okay, I want to enter this differently to where each day I'm taking it one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that, I'm realizing that I'm allowing myself to appreciate every single day that comes.
Yeah.
Um, and it makes me wake up each day with the attitude of looking forward to what's to come. Like I almost expect something great to come each day,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of how grateful I am of each one. So with doing that, I mean, I feel honestly very, very grateful. I feel blessed. I feel as if every prayer that anybody that came before me that has
Come on.
prayed over me has been answered.
Right?
And
Yeah.
I've been feeling good, man. I've been feeling really good. But I really appreciate that question. That's good. That you
Listen, I always like to do it, even when I'm on red carpets and things like that. You always want to reset kind of like the moment and just be like, how are you and how is your heart? With especially
yeah.
everything that's going on. With you, I want to start some of the questions off different because I think we do an amazing job doing our research. And I want to talk about somebody, Miss Cyrus.
Oh,
Don't play with me. So
oh.
if you could talk to Miss Cyrus today, the teacher who said, if you don't try, you'll never know, what would you tell her?
Oh, dang.
Jermaine,
Okay.
Jermaine, stop playing with me. You know,
Oh, you good. Oh, dang. What's my social security number? I'm playing. It's you. Dang. If I could talk to Miss Cyrus today, I would tell her first and foremost, girl, you wasn't lying.
okay.
Okay. You might know a little something.
Ooh,
And I would tell her that thank you. Thank you
yeah.
for, taking the time out of your job, your life to even just speak that into me and to speak life into me because, her being a teacher, she sees so many kids every single
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
and it's hard being a teacher. Even back then it was hard being a teacher, but
Right. Right.
to do that and to have that support growing up outside of somebody who wasn't my family, who's not even related to me in any way, shape, or form,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
speak that life into me and to be like, I think you could be good at it. I think you should
Got
just
to.
try it. You
Yeah.
and that wasn't the first time she told me something like that, to where anything I wanted to do in my little phases of life that I had
Right.
fifth grade year, she supported anything, and that really stuck with me. If I could talk to her again today, I would definitely tell her, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
we see it, and I think when you think of just that full circle moment, Tyler Perry. I used to work there at the beginning, old school Krog Street in the costume department. So
Wow.
back in the day, but you auditioned right after the strike ended, and 2 days later, you got the call that Tyler Perry himself thought that you were funny. And I think throughout all of that, I think of where we are in those spaces in our life. For you, when you got that call, where were you?
I was in a parking lot. I was definitely in a parking lot. My girl, she had to get something from urgent care, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll wait in the car." And as I'm waiting in the car, that's when my team called me, and I was like, "Oh, for real?
You're like, for real?
Dang!"
Okay.
But I didn't know that I had got it at that point, so I'm like, "Oh, cool." Um, Yeah, but when I was in the parking lot, that's when they told me everything. I was like, "Oh, okay." God could have
Mm.
told me the first time when I admitted it, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, but here we are.
Days.
It all happens. It
Yeah,
all happens in alignment.
it happened when God intended, and I wasn't mad at it, but it
That
definitely caught me off. I was like, dang, I would be in the parking lot when this happens. you
what does the psyche kind of as an artist tell you yourself now that you grew up watching these films and now you're playing in these older versions of the films? How does the mind feel right now that you are a part of this lineage of just history?
Honestly, I'm still trying to fully grasp that aspect of it, you know. Stepping into this, I knew it would be a stepping stone, but also something to grow with, and to
Mhm.
adapt into because knowing, like as you said, I'm stepping into a character that was already there in previous
Yeah.
films, and he was younger, but I'm also stepping into a world where a lot of these characters are established already as far
Hmm.
as gaining
Yeah.
the trust of the audience and having people love them as characters and as performers too. And me stepping into that almost already solidified family
Hmm.
was a little
Hmm.
scary because I'm like,
It was
okay,
a little bit scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dang, I don't know how they're gonna receive me, But at the end of the day, TP thought I was funny, so I don't really don't care, Like,
Listen,
okay,
as
cool,
long as TP think you're funny, you're good, right? But
And
I
I'm
think
like, okay,
that goes
yeah,
into the pressure though, right?
it does, it
Of like
definitely does.
acting opposite of someone who is an actor, a director, a writer, and a producer all at once. How do you stay grounded and kind of not break character when like Joe is going off script during because he does
Um,
that. Tyler loves to do
Honestly,
that.
yeah, he does. It wasn't necessarily hard for me to break character because I would go in every single day with the goal of getting him to break,
Love it.
and I would accomplish that.
Yeah.
At times, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm doing good, you know. And also, I mean, I went in with the trust of knowing, the gifts that God gave me. I grew up, with a very supportive family, and friends. I can have the blessing of saying that I honestly have never encountered anybody in my entire life that has never told me they didn't believe in me, which, like, it's crazy because I kind of used to want that, like, dang, just say you don't
I
believe.
can't get one hater.
You
Like
know what I'm
y'all
saying?
just
Like
don't want me to
I
win.
thrive off of that. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I'm like, cool. Oh, you don't? I'll show you something. But blessed be. I grew up with a lot of support in my life, so I kind
Yeah.
of already had this sense of I know what I'm bringing to the table. As long as I do my job right, I don't have anything to worry about. The first few days was a little mind bender though, because they was messing with me because they wouldn't. I don't know. The first 2 days of shooting, like I wasn't getting
Like it wasn't landing.
like I wasn't getting any feedback at all
Uh,
from the things I was doing.
okay.
And being
You're
in
like, am I good? Is it y'all
yeah,
like it? Like what we doing?
like
Yeah. Yeah.
being in that space as an actor, there's there's a type of response you kind of expect, like within this industry, we thrive off of feedback at the end of the day, we
Yes.
do. Even though we love the art, we still thrive off of okay, how did you receive it though?
Hmm. Hmm.
And especially within comedy, like when I was doing drama, I'm still present in the moment, but
Yeah.
like I can trust what I'm doing, especially with the director of like, okay, I feel like we landed with this moment or like we can block something and I don't have to really worry about responses. Me and the director are like locked in as far as getting
Hmm.
truthful response out the way. But with comedy, I'm looking for laughs. If I can't get nobody to crack a smile or a laugh during a take, I'm
Eli,
starting
I
questioning
might
like,
go back. I might need to go back to the drawing board.
yeah,
What's
like dang, is the joke not landing or like okay, like do they understand the nuance of this joke or
Mhm.
is it landing or not? In the first few days, I felt like it was dead silence. What the heck is going on? Like, hello. And then the second day, he sat down with me. He was like, "Yeah, man, how you feeling?" I'm like, "I don't know." Do you tell
No.
me? Okay, like, am I doing my job right? He's like, "Man, you hilarious. Man, you killing it." And I'm like, "You don't feel like it? I haven't seen nobody laugh at nothing." He's like, "Oh, don't worry about that. They just used to being on set with me."
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." And I kid you not, after that, that's when everybody started coming to me quoting different things I did. Like, "Oh, it was so funny you did."
Y'all were listening. Got it.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, cool. Now I know that's how y'all operate. I can keep doing what I'm doing it. That
What
helped a lot
but
to
this is the thing. You keep doing amazing work, right? And especially in
thank you.
Joe's college road trip, BJ represents a version of Black boyhood that we don't always see sometimes.
Mm.
And in that sheltered and thoughtful and visually kind of challenged and culturally kind of just kind of searching throughout the world. Why was it important for you to portray this type of Black masculinity?
Mm. For me, right, growing up, there was always it felt like a voice within the Black community as far as different aspects of our lives. Again, because we're not a monolith,
Right.
like we had the Martins, or we have the Eddies, or we have the
Hmm.
Willows. We see the Wayans bros, how they perceive life,
Yeah.
or um and with this, I attacked it with the idea or just knowing that we don't really see this aspect much because within the last maybe 5, 10 years, as far as storytelling and then even more condensed black storytelling, we see a side of our POV that's always so serious,
Yeah.
so ground, or so heavy,
Yeah.
or that's always super in tune with who we are.
Mm.
Um, and I felt like I thought it was an amazing opportunity to tell this side of like, okay, yeah, this guy's nerdy. We've already seen the Urkels before. We've seen this portrayal before, but I want something to feel a little more real, something that's more
Mhm.
modern, but also the perspective of with my generation, with Gen Z, of somebody who's growing up and who knows people who are very in tune with their emotions or very in
Absolutely.
tune with
Yeah.
people outside of themselves, um, but also people who truly don't really know who they are within their blackness.
Ooh, say that. Say
And,
that to the people in the back. Come
yeah,
on.
and
Come
that's
on.
not like me, but I thought like, oh man, that'd be really interesting to tell that side of the story and to feel that, and I just wanted that, just that part of our community to feel seen and to be like, it's okay if you're not aware, but we want to show you a little something so
But
you
we want to
are
show
aware
you,
now.
yeah, different layers to it. I want to get into a quick question that somebody that stays on that topic. His name is Tyler. Funny. Tyler from, he is from Los Angeles. He says, what would you tell young black men who feel not being black enough or not too different?
Mm. Not being black enough or not too different. I would tell them to one, figure out what it is that they love about themselves,
Yeah,
and also to remember, at the end of the day, you're black.
you're still black.
Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. Not
Yeah,
any other black person
yeah.
or not black person. Can nobody take that away from you? I think it definitely starts with self-love and
Hmm.
understanding that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And regardless of if you are in spaces that you don't feel black enough, I
Yeah.
feel like it starts with community. It starts with
Hmm.
finding other people who essentially are almost in the same boat as you, but also finding people who are going to accept you regardless.
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
with that. Read up on also your Black history and figure out like there's other people within history who are just like you.
Hmm.
And once you find that common factor of like, oh, I'm not alone. Okay, this
You're like, oh,
happened.
it's other people that, oh, okay.
Exactly. It has already happened before.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that it starts with a sense of community. But before you find community, I feel like finding yourself first is always important because if you don't
Hmm.
find that, then somebody else is going to try to tell you who you are and what you should believe in and what you should like about yourself. Um, but truthfully, yeah, it starts with finding the love for yourself and figuring out what it is you love or find beautiful within yourself
Yeah.
and within your own blackness. Um,
Finishing high school at home, sir, at 17, 18. Shout out to your, don't play.
Dang.
Your mother, I think, had this plan of making sure that you're giving 100%, 10% of your mindset on making sure that you were focused on what the goal and the dream is. At 17, 18 years old, how scary was that decision?
Man, it was exciting. I was excited. So to be so honest, because leading up to that point, I mean, I was going to my my local school for about 3 years, and within that, I was already so set on leaving. Like for years, I was like, man, LA is on my mind. My mom's from
Listen, Columbia College Hollywood, right?
that's exactly the school I went to after. Man, you good? Okay, okay, yeah, that's the school she found that school. She
Okay.
did. Yeah. And like I was so set on just leaving. Like I was like, man, if by any means necessary, shout out Malcolm. Like I'm ready to get up out of here, you know? And with that though, she knew how dedicated I was 'cause that's how she raised me and my siblings.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
she always was the type of person or the type of parent to be like, look, no matter what it is you do, always have a plan
yeah.
whether or not you either want to be in performing arts or you want to be in law or you want to be a
Whatever.
dancer, sports, whatever it is, have a plan and stick to it. And on top of that, give it your best. Whatever
Yeah.
it is, give it your best and make sure you are
Mhm.
the best at what you're doing. So you're not leaving that joint with any regrets.
Right.
So with that, I truly was appreciative of that, but I was just more excited, because
Yeah,
growing up, I'm like, man, LA feel like a fantasy land.
it is. It's
Telling me
just.
stories. I'm ready to get up out of here. And then she took me for my 16th birthday, and ever since then, I was definitely on that. Oh yeah, I'm ready to get up out of here. You
talk
know,
to talk to us about the validation from Joan McMurdy. What happened? You said
Joan,
what?
Joan. Dang,
Joan.
my acting teacher, man, my only acting teacher. Hearing that, wow, man, you really, ooh wee, yeah, hearing that definitely turned the page for me. I was already dealing with thoughts of, of dropping out. I was already dealing with it. I was one of, I think, two freshmen in that entire class. Um, and she trusted me with a lot within that
Yeah.
class. I remember by the time I got to our finals for the year, I was the only one who did two of them. Like she was like, "Nah, I know you could do it." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Okay.
Yeah, and I did it, but after that, I was already battling with the idea of dropping out. And I remember she had stepped aside with me and I was telling her, and she was like, "Yeah, you probably should. Yeah, yeah, you probably should."
I like those honest conversations. I do.
Yeah,
I like those conversations. Yeah.
at the time I didn't have an agent, but like I was working towards it every single day. And she's like, "Well, are you working?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm performing here. I'm performing outside the school,
See? Mhm.
doing short films and independent films and plays." But she's like, "Well, you're already doing the work, so."
I mean, listen, you book ballers. Talk to us about that. I mean, shall we? I mean, come on. How was that experience?
Yeah, oh man, that was my first SAG project, my first union project, and that was definitely an experience. I went in there, and at the time, this is when we all had, in-person like
Right.
callbacks and stuff, and that was
Uh-huh.
such a fun time in the industry. But doing that, I definitely out the gate, I didn't even want to do it at first because I was like, I mean, look at me, I still look like a child. So
Just saying.
at the
Yeah.
time, I was probably like 19, turning 20, and the characters were mid 20s that I was
Yeah.
auditioning for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, why? I was like, dude, I look nothing like this. And my managers were like, I think you should try it. I think you kill it. So I did it. And then I went in and I got the call back. And then when I went to the callback, I seen other people who were for the callback. They all had beards and tattoos. I was like, wow, yeah. They probably think I'm waiting for my parents right now in here.
Yeah. You're like, is he supposed to be here? Like,
Yeah, and off
sure.
rip, I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know how this is gonna go, man. So I'm just gonna put it all out on the table and see what happens. And that's when they called me in for the chemistry read, and I was able to meet one of my closest friends within that, Tim Johnson Jr. And we went in together. I remember me, him, and Griffin Matthews, man. That's my other dog.
Come
Like
on.
we all went in and we connected instantly. And I remember when we finished we were all promised each other, like, look, whoever gets it,
I
we're
got
so excited. Like, if one of us gets it, then we all got it technically.
it.
Like,
Yep.
look, I'm
Yep.
just happy that I was able to meet you guys. And I remember I got the call, and the first day on set, I, I kid you not, I walked out of my trailer, I opened the door, and I looked, and Tim opened his door at the same time, and it
Come
was
on.
Griffin, and I was like, oh, and that's how I found out they got it. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, we got it.
We all got it.
Yeah,
We
that was
all
a
got
huge
it.
experience for me because that was the first time I ever booked a SAG project, and I still wasn't in the union yet. So that really taught me a lot. And being around
It's
other,
it's crazy, but it's crazy that you. Sorry to interrupt you, but I also want to also keep giving you your flowers. It's crazy you weren't in the union because two hands to touch and ballers and mad about you and the Fury serum. I mean, can we keep the map of the
yeah,
bunk and Saturdays and you have a laundry list of beautiful work. I'm just saying.
thank you. Yeah, that was the first one where I got to
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
because I know Two Hand Touch was before that one, but that one wasn't a SAG project, and I was like, okay. I think it might have been like Saggy or something, but like I remember just being excited on that one too, because that was technically the first project I booked in LA. I'm like, I'll go,
Yeah,
first year out here, awesome,
yeah.
but definitely Ballers was a eye opener for me because that's what allowed me to finally get into the union because of that.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
first one, I got 3 episodes off the first one. I'm like, dang, this is cool. But that one was really a blessing.
There you go. I'm like, Jermaine, let me get $20. So when you're staying on the production space of things, you filmed in the Dominican Republic, Bahamas, Atlanta, 10 plus hour days, jet lag, nonstop energy, just all of the things I feel like we as creatives always do. Like we're always on the move. Did traveling for this film, what did it teach you about you and yourself and your life and reset and all of the things? What did it teach you?
Mm. One, sleep is so important.
I tell
Sleep is
you, and a nap is important too, but go ahead.
oh, it definitely
Shout
is.
out to a nap.
It, oh, it is definitely important. I was like, okay, these are a lot of different time zones,
Yep.
which is a whole different beast to navigate.
Hmm.
And it honestly centered me a lot, because it made me realize that every time I would go somewhere else,
Uh,
the first thought that goes in my head is, I'm from Pittsburgh, California. What am I doing here? This is crazy. This is
you where you're
crazy.
supposed to be. That's where
I,
you're supposed
it
to
was,
be.
it was blowing my mind every day. I'm like, dude,
Uh-huh.
I'm just going back to my grandma's backyard, me eating pomegranates with my friends, and I'm like,
You're
dude,
like, I'm
like,
in this space for real. This is real.
yeah, like
Yeah.
pretending for a living. Like I'm doing this stuff that I would do when I was a kid all the time, but I'm getting paid for it. Like this is crazy. It was definitely so centering for me because then it made me, man, it just made me attack each day just like
Yeah.
200%, man. Like, and it made me forget even just the time zone aspect of it. Anyways, like I
Mhm.
could be running on 2 or 3 hours of sleep and I could all day,
I'm up.
and it wouldn't even feel like I'll be there for like 10 plus hours. I'm like, dang, like okay. Well, I guess I got to go back to my room,
You're like, let's do
next,
it.
but it was definitely a centering moment for me, working on those different locations and always just being aware too of like, okay, each location is a different climate too. So I make sure I'm not getting sick. My mom was telling me all the time, make sure you're drinking orange juice
You
everywhere
Orange
you
juice,
go. I'm like, mom, all right. Like,
orange juice and vitamins. Stop playing with me.
yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like, mother.
I want to get into two questions. When they heard that you were on the show and everyone has already seen the Netflix film, I mean, it was great. I have to say, I sat down, like I say, in one sitting. So I'm like, look, we need $20 out of you because I know y'all are still number one, number two, number everything.
Hey, we
First
up
question
there.
comes from Nicole, and she's out of Brooklyn, New York. And she says, did imposter syndrome ever try and creep in on your life?
Oh, girl. Like I said, I grew up with a otherworldly confidence. Okay, I'm extremely
I
confident.
love how you worded that.
Like God-given confidence within myself. I've always knew, regardless of where I was in the world, I was gonna be where I was gonna be at.
Yeah.
I was gonna make it regardless. I would tell people all the time in high school, I could be in New Mexico, Canada, the UK. It's not
Yep.
gonna matter. I know the destination I'm going, so
Right.
don't
Right.
matter how long it's gonna take or which way
The
it's gonna
map.
take me. I'm gonna get there. But that idea or those thoughts didn't really creep in until I booked my first series regular, which was when I did Saturdays for Disney. And I remember distinctly, man, like being in my room. This was we shot the pilot in New Orleans at first, and then we got picked up. We were in Chicago. But I remember being in my room, staring out at the dock and everything, and our real life was like, why me? Why am I here? Like, and that was the first time ever where I was like, really like, why am I thinking of this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
tripping. Like, and anytime those thoughts ever creep in, which it's not a common thing for me, it's very rare when that happens. But when they do, I try to nip them in the bud as soon as I can because I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm questioning why I'm here while I'm here. Obviously, I'm here for a reason because if I wasn't supposed to be here, I wouldn't be here questioning. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? Like,
Correct.
how can I question my blessing while I'm in my blessing?
While you're in your
You know what I'm
blessing,
saying?
it's crazy.
And that would really get me out of those moments. But it's very rare when that does happen. But I try to remind myself and tell myself who I am and like,
Hmm.
look,
Hmm.
I, I wouldn't be here for no reason. They're not just
Absolutely
hiring
not. Yeah. Absolutely.
anybody. I
Same.
trust in the gifts I was given. And that's really how I just nip them in the butt whenever they do come up. But it doesn't happen often. But when they do, I try to
You're
stick.
like reset. Let's go.
Yeah, like
James out of Houston, Texas asks, "What is something that Tyler taught you without actually teaching you?"
mm,
I love that question. Wow.
be very distinct in your vision. Be very clear in what you want.
Mm.
And that's what he really taught me. Um, when we were filming, they would disclose to me just how important each of the stories were
Yeah.
to him. When we're storytelling, the story has to be the most important thing for us because that's what
Hmm.
we want
Hmm.
people to receive. But with him, he's very he knows exactly what he wants.
Oh,
Like exactly.
absolutely. Yeah.
And for me, seeing that in action while he's directing and also being in the scene,
Yeah.
it taught me a lot of like, there's nothing we can't do.
Mm-mm.
Why only limit ourselves to this? You can love things. You could be like, no, I know for certain I do love this, and I'm okay with just loving this. But
Hmm.
when it comes to if you know you have another passion for something within storytelling, why
Do it.
not? You know, why
Yeah.
not? Trust in what you have and trust that you're probably the best person to tell this story.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And like seeing that was really powerful for me. Um, and it was just really a blessing to see that up close. And the love he constantly
Hmm.
uplifting people while we're filming this stuff. I mean, it was really really awesome. Like it would make me forget like, oh yeah, you are Tyler Perry. Oh, yeah. Ah yeah. Oh yeah yeah yeah. He was wonderful.
Yeah, as we get ready to wrap our show, I recreated in the show called the therapy session. And within that, it allows yourself to think of things, just off the whim, right? Whatever comes off your mind. And it allows your audience, your family, your girl, all of the people look at you like, wait a minute, I've never heard Jermaine say that before. Wow.
Mm.
Therapy does work. Who was your childhood hero?
My mother.
Mm,
My mother's my childhood hero. But I have I kind of group it all into one because I was raised by many powerful women in my life. My mother, my grandmothers, and my great aunt. Those
yeah.
are my heroes. The amount of things I've seen them go through and just make stuff work. Ah man, it it's insane. Like, but first person that comes to mind is definitely my mother. She's the first person that I can think of that ever taught me that don't let people limit you. You know,
Mm,
don't let don't let the world limit you or limit the the purpose that God has put on you. You know,
yeah.
they can try to tell you that oh, it's gonna come from us, but it's not. It's always gonna come from God. So if He telling me that I'm great, you can't nobody tell me I'm not. So
I'm just saying.
yeah.
What is a boundary that is important to you?
Peace. I
I love
think
the thought process. You like, darn, I was just talking about this. What's
mm,
happening?
yeah, a boundary that's important to me is I think peace, really, and respect. I think
Mm,
respecting me as a human being, as a black man, is extremely important to me. Um, in my personal life, I think people kind of forget that we are all on this earth at the same time,
we are. We
just
are.
doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And regardless if, if you could look up to somebody what they're doing, but at the end of the day, they all have their own thing that they're going through. And sometimes people just want to hear that question you asked of, how you doing?
How you doing?
You know,
That's it.
thank you. That's a boundary I really respect. And another boundary too for my friends. Don't invite me out all the time, okay?
I promise you
I like
I'm not,
staying at home to be honest.
I'm not coming. I'm not coming.
I'm
I'm
not.
about it.
If I pop out, I love you.
I
Okay.
promise you it is intentional. What is your relationship with ambition?
It's it's my white whale.
Mm,
Ambition is the thing that's constantly on my mind, man. And it's almost like uh it's a driving force for sure for me. Ambition is something that I'm constantly trying to chase, but I never really want to catch,
oh,
you know.
wow.
Because
Because
if
if
I
you
catch
catch it, then it's like, what do I have to attain? Yeah.
exactly, I constantly wanna be chasing it. Um and to be ambitious is a powerful thing because if you have no ambition, I feel like you're gonna be like a rock. You're gonna
Absolutely.
stay where you are. I want to be like a tree and be planted, but still growing constantly.
Hmm.
So that's something that's always been there. I feel like I've always naturally just been an ambitious person. um,
You're like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Do you think? Do you think your mother has been able to fulfill all of her dreams?
um, no, I don't. I don't think so. And my mom, like me, is a constant dreamer, and that's what I love. One of the things I love about her. Um, she's always trying to reach something and to grow as a person.
Yeah,
Um, and that's a beautiful thing to see. A beautiful thing to see for somebody who can acknowledge that, okay, I could be this amount of years old. That doesn't mean that I know everything. I
yeah,
don't know everything.
yeah.
Could acknowledge they don't know everything is a
Still
person
learning. Yeah, that part.
always
Exactly.
gonna be learning something. And one of my goals in life that's always been there is just to always help my mom and my siblings achieve that dream. Whatever way possible I can be to be that example or that light to be like, okay,
There it is.
he did it, then I definitely can do it. We're
Mhm.
always inspiring each other, whether it's me and her or me and my siblings. But that's something I always want for myself is just to make sure my mom sees everything she's ever wanted to in life.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah.
Listen, you're not just an actor, you're also a producer. And I think about the stories that are still being told and are not being told. What kind of stories do you want to tell that are not being seen yet?
You know what? Man, there's so many
Right?
in our community, within other communities that I grew up with and are near and dear to my heart. Um, Being from the Bay Area, it's a melting pot of just different cultures and stuff. And one of the things that I feel like hasn't been tapped into is just the stories of how close knit a lot of us are. I grew up with tons of Hispanic, Filipino, Pacific
Mhm.
Islanders, Italians, like
It's like the list is just, I'm just
a
saying.
lot, and I'm like, man, I don't think we've ever seen really a story where you've seen a black guy and a Filipino guy go do something together, or a black and Hispanic person go do something together, or just experience life together
Because
coming
that's actually real life, especially, and I live in LA,
up.
I live in Hollywood. It happens.
Exactly. It
Just saying.
happened, Like we don't always gotta be the best friend in something,
Yeah.
whether it's us, the Hispanic people, or the Asian people, it's like we ain't always gotta be that. A lot of times we each other's best friend, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
Don't see that. It's such a common thing, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
I also want to see stories where you're seeing black people be put in these positions to where, yeah, we can come across this too. I seen some where it was on a podcast and the guy said, yeah, well, people see Bigfoot all the time, and they're like, "Do you think black people could see Bigfoot?" And they're like, "Nah, they wouldn't be doing that." I'm like, "We probably could. We
We
probably
probably
could.
could.
We probably could. How come it's so impossible if ET ran up on us?
He
Like,
could.
it could happen. I want to see us in those spaces where we're kind of going through a fun, mystical or a mythical type of adventure, or stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would love to see it. And that's the type of stuff that I want to tell to where people can watch that and aspire to be like, oh man, I would love to be put in that position. Because that's how I was growing up,
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
the Black or the Goonies of like,
Hmm.
so fun to go through, you know?
You've experienced a lot at a young age, and being able to have teachers like your aunt and your family, and especially your mom and your siblings to support you and always have your back and to lift you up. But then also to be able to be a part of television and films that really do have conversations and people are communicating about, how do we continue to have representation in many different aspects and ways, and you created that. Your journey feels like a bridge. It really does, between generations, between cultures, between where you started and where you're headed. When it's all said and done, and I always ask this question as I close out, what do you want young Black boys watching you to believe about themselves? And Jermaine Harris, what do you want your legacy to be?
Mm. I want young Black men and women too,
Hmm.
who watch my stuff, who are gonna grow up watching my stuff, to feel a piece of themselves within the stuff that I'm telling, to where they too can imagine themselves in these places or these situations, especially the people that are in my hometown growing up, because there was never somebody that we can be like, oh, they've already done it.
Yeah.
And whether that's acting, producing, writing, whatever it is, I want them to know that hard work and prayer can get you anywhere.
Come on. Yeah.
Anywhere in life,
Anywhere in life.
anywhere. And sometimes it might not be exactly where you envision, but you're always going to be exactly where you're supposed to be.
Come
Um, so I want them to understand that when they see my stuff, and that's really the goal I want, is just for them to feel even just a mustard seed of hope of being like, wow,
Yeah.
no, I can do this. I can definitely do this. And for my own legacy, I want people to feel good about the stuff that they watch me in. You know, I want to feel like I've I've given to this amazing space that we have within filmmaking, but also just within our own community, Black
Yeah.
storytelling.
Yeah.
Like I want people to know and watch my stuff and be like, "Oh man, that was good."
Yeah.
That makes me feel good about myself.
Right.
Makes me think more about myself or more of an introspective way. Um, I want my legacy to be, oh man, just greatness. I want my legacy to be greatness. In
You
that
are great.
capacity. I want it to be great, and thank you for that. I really, really do appreciate that. I just want it to be something that people can look at and feel proud about it, like how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to include your mom in this. We are proud of you. And we're proud
Thank
of just all the things and the footprints that you are leaving for generations to come, for the generations that are standing beside you. And just thank you. Thank you for just the hard work. I think there are times that we don't look at our fellow creator and filmmaker and things, and we just take that beat and just say, thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. And then how's your heart, But we appreciate you always on Power 97.5 LA, iHeartRadio, the JS Journals. How can the people find you? Where can they support all of the things?
Yes, sir. So you can find me on Instagram. It's just my name is Jermaine, but instead of an A, it's an X, so it's gonna be JerMXine. And that's really you can find me anywhere. There, TikTok, it's same name, just put Harris at the end, Jermaine Harris. I
And make
keep
sure they go to Netflix to see the latest.
Yeah,
Hello.
hello. You can find me on
Yeah.
Netflix. Joe's College Road Trip. You can see me on Medea's Destination Wedding as well. And that's really the spots, man. It's gonna be more to come. I'm just looking forward to
Yeah.
the different doors that God is opening and the ability to be a blessing to other people. So
And you continue to be, as I always say, thank you for you and thank you for your heart. And as we always say, stay positive, yet stay creative. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.